Welcome. Let's go.
I took my heaviest book and I placed you inside. With each breath that you took, rested soft by my side. Before your petals could fall and colors would fade, I'd preserve your heart, press you into the page. You're my yellow rose. I'll take you wherever I go. And I like to think that I know what you think, and I spend too long in my dreams. I'm fixated on what this could be. This purpose I hope that you can see. I've got this pen and this paper, but I don't know how I'll get there. And I just want people to see what they need, to love everyone and be free. They said things would get easy once I made it, the money would roll in. I know this seems impossible, this insane situation we're in. They said things would get easier once I made it, the money would roll in. I know this seems impossible, this insane situation we're in. But you're my rose. This is my dream. You're all that I want. But what do I need? I took my heaviest book and I placed you inside. With each breath that you took, rested soft by my side. Before your petals could fall and colors would fade, I'd preserve your heart and press you into the page.
It's when she walks in that door and you look at her like it's the first time you've ever seen her, and your heart drops and you are amazed and you can't wait to tell all your friends about this girl. You can't wait to tell your mom about this girl, and you simply say to yourself, this is her. This is the one. That's love.
In the moment that she walked in, wanna know everything about her. Does she still talk with her father? Or do they not speak anymore? It's the cardinal sin. The things I think about her, lasting 2 feet an hour. But I don't know which direction I'm headed in, love. Maybe tonight we will stand alone, because we are afraid of what's unknown. This could be our milestone. Nervous for your answer. My heart started beating faster. Minutes turned to hours in my head. 6 years had passed. I still think about that moment. Now you're the mother of the children that I'm holding. Love, maybe tonight we won't stand alone, because we aren't afraid of what's unknown. This could be this could be this could be our milestone. I'll still fight for you, even if we fight all night. We can make it through to see the morning light. could be a milestone. In the moment that she walked in, I knew everything about her. She still talks with her father, and I know that I'm in love. When I was just 16, I had some really big dreams. I used to stay up all night till the morning light, just plotting my schemes. No one believed in me, but I knew there was something unseen, yeah. If you work hard enough for something, then your if only is turned into those dreams now. It's sad how it goes when I listen to the radio.
What's up, everybody? Gave a little bit of extra time, some people rolling in, but I am about to lock this meeting and get started. So just want to welcome everybody to our pilot episode. This is our first episode. This is our first meeting, our first seminar for talent partnerships. So I just want to welcome everybody who decided to join. Today, we're going to talk about box office, how important an artist's box office is. We're also going to talk about demos, what we look for in a demo, what we expect, and, you know, kind of give you some advice on what to send in, because we listen to everything and we'll go over that. If you want to learn more about our talent partnerships, you can visit breakpointbooking.com, and it's just /talent-partnerships. That page will give you all of the information on future things, future episodes, and that schedule will roll out shortly. I'm still working on it. So, but regardless, welcome. Who you guys were just listening to is Matt Walden. He is one of the acts that we work with at Breakpoint Booking.
Oh, okay.
Maybe because I'm right at the speaker.
Make sure you guys mute yourself, please. All right, I'll make sure to mute you. Matt Walden is one of the artists that we work with at Breakpoint Booking. And this is a picture of him performing, but we're going to get started. Make sure you guys continue to mute yourself. We are recording this as well, so we will make sure to share it with everybody. Even the people that could not join once this is all over. So let's get rolling. Again, what we're going to go over is just, I guess my whole goal when putting this together was to kind of share everything that's in my head. I get a lot of questions from our clients, acts that we work with, comedians that we work with, what terminology means, what does it mean to challenge a hold, what does NBOR mean? So that's kind of why I decided to jump start this program and really kind of help educate not only the clients that we work with, but just anybody out there that wants to know and take a peek inside or behind the scenes into our work and what we do. So these flyers are on our Instagram page. You can definitely check them out there. But again, for more information, go to that link, that talent partnerships link. So box office, I'm going to read this because I know that print is super small. Bad Bunny is just killing it right now. Probably a historic act at this point. And you can just look here, sets all-time touring record grossing, 435 million in a calendar year. I'm sure you guys are maybe like, what does that mean? That's the money that all of his touring made for 2022. And you can read down here, Bad Bunny closed out his 43-date world's hottest tour in Mexico City's Azteca Stadium in early December. And with those two performances set the all-time record for the highest grossing tour in a single calendar year. It just goes on to talk a little bit more, how he grossed more than 10.5 million over 2 nights, giving him a grand total of 435,388,660 for the calendar year. This is from Polestar. Polestar is a great resource. It's a trade publication that keeps track of box office scores and statistics for artists, music artists, comedians, anybody that performs out live, and that is counted by places like Ticketmaster and wherever else tickets are sold. But this tour, Bad Bunny's tour, which grossed 435 million, surpassed Ed Sheeran's Divide tour, which topped Polestar's 2018 year-end worldwide top 100 chart with a record of 432.4 million, which was the all-time highest grossing live entertainment act in a calendar year until Bad Bunny. So just something to point out. Bad Bunny is going to be eating for a long time off of his box office if he can keep these statistics moving and, you know, stay relevant. He's an act I can definitely see 20 years from now, you know, still making noise. So what does box office mean? I got this from Merriam-Webster. You can just Google. Box office is now an office, as in the theater, where tickets of admission are sold. Income from ticket sales as for a film or for a live show, concert. The ability as of a show to attract ticket buyers, also something that enhances that ability. Any publicity is good box office is kind of a sentence they throw out to help you understand the terminology. But box office is super important. It's something that will stay with you as a brand, as a company, as an artist for your career. And it's something that I feel is the most important because I feel most artists' income come from the box office, as you can see going back to that Bad Bunny slide. There's two different types of tickets. Well, ways to tickets or ways box office looks at ticketing in a sense. You have your soft ticket event and then you have your hard ticket event. So what I'm going to go over now is your soft ticket event. Not sure if you guys have ever heard these terms before, but that's what they are, soft and hard tickets. So soft ticket event, you're looking at places like state fairs, festivals, private events, brand launches, cruise lines, theme parks, college parties to an extent, but pretty much because nobody's really, I mean, maybe they're selling tickets and keeping track there. But soft ticket event is really an event where you're not the main draw. You're there as part of entertainment. You're there to help round out what's already going to be happening. They're not as concerned about how many tickets you're selling, and people buying tickets to the event aren't just buying it for you. They're buying it for the whole conglomerate of why they're going there. So for instance, a state fair, they're going there for the rides, they're going there for the cotton candy. You're just there as part of the entertainment. So it's a soft ticket event. And it's not going to really affect your box office as much. Soft ticket events don't affect your box office. They're not really accounted for. We get a lot of acts that come to us and say, we just played this installation for Bose Entertainment or for Adidas. And we go, that's great. That's a soft ticket event. That's great that you were able to get some exposure and get money for that event, but it's not going to be reported to Polestar. It's not going to help your box office. And it's, you know, it's not going to really help when we go out to try to route a tour for you either. It's definitely going to help your brand and your growth. But it's good and important to understand the differences between the two. So as you can see here, it's a picture of Minnesota State Fair. Same with festivals. I can go down through this list. When you go to a festival, you're not there just to see one particular act. You're there for the whole entire draw. Now, granted, festivals will probably book you based off of your draw, but for the most part, it's still a soft ticket event because a buyer at a club is not going to try to pick apart how you drew to a festival versus how you're going to draw to a club. It just doesn't match up. It's two different entities. That's why soft and hard tickets are separated the way that they are. So I'll give you guys opportunities for questions as well later, but just going down the line here, same thing with the cruise line. When you buy a ticket for a cruise, you're going on vacation. If there's a musician there or a comedian there, just happens to be there, that's great. But again, it's not, the comedian or the musician isn't the main draw. And so that's why, again, this is a soft ticket sort of setup. Hard ticket. This is when we're getting into clubs, venues, theaters, amphitheaters, arenas, stadiums, anything where it's an actual box office. You know, actual tickets are being counted for the event, for the show that you're presenting. So whether that's a nightclub, whether that's a bar that's keeping track of tickets, whether that's a theater or any place that you could route a tour around that's doing shows on a weekly basis. Those places are considered hard ticket events, and a lot of those places do report to the trade publications like Polestar and Celebrity Access and keep track of box office numbers for artists, especially if they're moving tickets. So this is the difference between hard ticket and soft ticket. I find it super important to point out. A lot of people have asked me this and have a hard time understanding the difference. And I get a lot of artists that'll say, "Hey, we just got on Rolling Loud. Now you can route a tour for us." And I go, it really doesn't work that way. Like, Rolling Loud's great for your brand. It's a really great opportunity, and it's going to definitely grow you on social media, and it'll probably bring you more fans. But it's not going to help me sell you to a club that doesn't know what you're going to draw in a specific market because you've never been there before. So it's certain things like that where knowing the difference and understanding the difference between hard and soft tickets are important. Why is an artist box office important? Ticket sales. You want to obviously put good numbers out there. That's why it's important. People keep track. Your agent will keep track. Your team will keep track. So-and-so did 75 paid at this club in downtown, last month. We feel like we can do, we feel like 150 cap rooms are perfect for us because we have the statistics to draw or to show it. Same with, maybe a bigger artist. They did 300 paid, at a recent show. We kept track of it. We have proof. We have a box office draw. We have the finals. So those are things that help move the needle when speaking to other buyers that are looking for acts that can move tickets. An artist box office is important because it shows the ability to draw a crowd, everything that I just went over. Your career statistics, if you go into what I'm going to mention next, Polestar and the trades, those places keep track of career statistics for artists. So if you're reporting regularly, if you have somebody reporting regularly, that can be very helpful because a lot of buyers, for bigger organizations, the first place they look when they're researching an artist are the trade publications. So if you're listed on there and it shows a bunch of shows doing well, consistently, you're going to have a better opportunity of getting what you're getting paid fairly. You pay what you're worth. Market value. I mean, it's the same thing. Hey, every time I'm in LA, we do 500 tickets. Every time I'm in Seattle, we do 300. So our market value in LA is a little bit better, but now I can command more money in LA versus Seattle. Longevity. One of the things that I learned when I first got into booking and working as a talent agent was literally just the fact that, I was working with artists who had been around for 20 and 30 years. I was working with throwback 90s artists and early 2000s artists. And this was 10 and 15 years later from when they had first, when they were hot. So what I noticed was that their box office was still hot 15 and 20 years later. And that showed me the importance because all the money the other money dries up. The soft ticket stuff dries up. 20-year-old artists aren't playing big festivals, unless they have something recent that just magically has happened, which has happened before. But for the most part, the label money, the radio money, the sponsorship money, all of that other stuff dries up. But what doesn't is your box office, and that's why it's important for longevity. So I am going to stop here. At least I'm going to try. to stop here and take some questions. So I'm going to ask if there are any questions. Let me see how I can do that here. Bear with me because I'm looking at my Zoom controls. I would ask for you guys to raise your hands though, so that I can ask you to come off and unmute yourself. I see Maria. Maria, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. You got a question?
Hi, how are you?
I'm
So,
doing well.
good. So, I wanted to know because last year, our label, we did an independent tour. It was 5 cities. However, the way that we did our ticket sales, we did it based off of our website. So we sold everything via Wix. So we got our CV spreadsheets and things like that. And then I think we also posted on it's not Ticketmaster, Eventbrite. So we did sales through there. Is it possible to be able to like add this stuff to Polestar?
Absolutely. I think it's just about as long as you have actual proof, meaning were these venues that you booked the shows at?
Yes.
Got it.
These were
Like
venues.
actual club venues like that do other shows or?
Right. Like so we did Bond Brothers East Side, which is a venue in North Carolina.
Mhm.
We had a complete tour routing.
Got it. So I would say if you can get finals from those venues, even though you did the tickets, well, I guess if you did the tickets, you might only have the numbers. I'm not sure if the venues have the numbers, but there might be some concert there where you want to discuss the finals with those venues so that they can also back you when you report to Polestar.
Okay, that would be awesome because we never, this is like new. I also have the artists with me. We actually partner with the label together. So
Mhm.
we're setting everything up and doing this on our own. And this is
Mhm.
just great to know. We never even knew about Polestar. So,
Yeah, I think it's great that you guys are, doing everything and doing as much as you can on your own. I would stay doing that. Just know that there are places out there where you want to keep track of what you're doing so that people can come into the situation and it's all verified.
okay.
Because that's definitely going to help. But I will work in concert with the venues that you did the shows at, let them know what the finals were. See
Okay.
if you can generate those reports with them and send them off so that it's reporting to those trade publications. And at worst case scenario, just keep track. And as long as, agents like me can call that venue and verify that you did what you're telling us, that's just as important.
Okay, and even regarding trade publications, is there a specific type of trade publication, or is it just like an overall generalized music trade publication that we should be getting these numbers to?
I would say Polestar would be number one. I think
Okay,
Celebrity Access also keeps track. There might be other organizations out there, but I know that those are kind of the top two. But I would say, definitely check out Polestar. If you've never been over there, visit that website, become a member, sign up for their email list, all of that stuff, just so you can learn a little bit more about how to be a part of that.
okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You got any other questions?
No, that's all for now, but I'm sure as this progresses, I'll have my hand raised.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. I'll go back to working unless anybody else has a question. I see my man Jamal in here. What's up, Jamal? All right, we'll get back to the presentation here. Take more questions at the end. One of the things I want to say is we do listen to demos. I have a lot of people hit us up on social media, send emails to our email address, which is literally just demos@breakpointbooking.com. You send a demo to that email, it will go to all of the agents, but we do check out everything. It's important for us to make sure that we're not missing anything. A lot of, well, first of all, we are all artists ourselves, so we understand what it's like. But at the same time, we know that there might be something amazing out there. So we're not just all about our network. But I will say our network is where we get mostly everything, but we do listen to demos. So it's important to know that there are companies out there that are listening. Keep sending. Just don't do this. And I'll kind of go through this. I know it's kind of tiny. It might be hard to read, but this is a demo that I wouldn't recommend sending, and I'll give you a rundown as to why. But it just starts off, very basic. Hello, my name is so-and-so. I represent the artist so-and-so. As his manager, I was referred by Isaac Gordon to Breakpoint Booking. So my first problem here is my name is spelled wrong. Our company is spelled wrong. I'm not even really that particular about stuff like that, but I feel like if you're going to send a demo or a resume or something like that, you should at least get the person's name correct and the company name correct. So I'll just say, take your time, do the research, read it through, make sure that you have somebody else look at it. Make sure that you guys are sending in good quality stuff when you're sending in demos. The next sentence goes on to say, my artist has given approval to collaborate with your business. I'm not even sure what that even means. I think this person reached out on social media and somebody gave them the email address to send us a demo, and they took that as approval to work with us. So I think that may just be an uneducated guess there. I'm not going to hold them as too bad on that one, but I will say that's a little odd. And then just the last sentence here. If you have any further comments, requests, or concerns, please CC the artist and I. Thank you. So there's no links to music in here. There's no description on the artist. There's no past show history. There's nothing we've opened up for so-and-so. There's no we're based out of so-and-so. There's no the last show we played was this. It's just, hey, I'm an artist. This is I'm a manager. This is my artist. I kind of half looked at your company. I'm ready to go, even though you told me I'm not. And let me know if you have any questions. It's just doesn't make any sense. This is definitely going into the trash can. Even if I was like an absolute, like, I'll just look at anything saint, I wouldn't even know what to do with this. I have no links on the artist. I can't even listen to the music. I have no idea outside of the artist email, which then I got to go down a whole research, adventure to figure it out, which why should I have to do that? So anyway, I can ramble on forever, as you can see, about this particular one, but don't do this. It would be a bad look. What do we look for? Show history, recent. Please don't tell us we played Boston back in 2011 and we sold 150 tickets. Like, that literally means absolutely nothing outside of great job in 2011. But how does that help right now? So recent show history, and I would say recent, after the pandemic right now, probably nothing pre-pandemic, but recent show history, we would like to know how things are going right now in the past year. Support history is great too. If you've supported a big artist, that lets us know that somebody believed in your draw enough to put you on a show, or that you're a hustler and you built some connections and got yourself in there. Regardless, that definitely shows some grit. So if you have any support history, that's good. Live performance video is important. These are kind of listed in the order of importance in my head. A live performance video, so we can kind of see. Obviously, we really do like to see a live performance before we make a lot of decision on whether we're going to work with you or not. But a live performance video definitely helps. It gives us a sense of what you look like on stage, how you interact with the crowd, all of those things. See how far down the line social media is? And a lot of times I get that first. And I tell you, social media is great. Don't get me wrong, it's important. It's definitely a place we're going to go check. And what we're going to look for are the metrics of, are people responding to you? Is there some sort of, you know, feedback, the numbers, not just the followers, but you know, are people commenting? Are people responding? What do the likes look like? You know, what's the activity look like? Those metrics that are what we're looking for. We're also looking at Spotify, looking at, you know, how many monthly listeners do you have? That tells us, you know, if there's a demand for your music. And then from those monthly listeners, if it's a high number, then we can go into your Spotify and look and see, okay, that helps us get an idea what markets are maybe listening to you. Maybe your top city is Seattle or Chicago. That lets us know that we should, you know, try to do a tester show in those markets based off of those social media metrics. And a lot of times venues and clubs, while they don't hold that as a high standard, if I go to a venue and I say, hey, they never played Chicago, but it's their second highest streaming metric on Spotify. They have 150,000 monthly listeners. You know, things like that actually do help even on First Marketplace. The last one on here is business and drive. And by business, I really want to know how your business acumen is. Do you have a team around you? If you don't have to, I mean, it's not super important. We work with a lot of artists direct, but do you have management? Do you have a publicist? Not super important, but just curious if you do. Do you have, you know, somebody else handling your business, or, you know, maybe it's not a direct manager, maybe it's just somebody advising. What does the drive look like? You know, are you, anything I could tell from an act? I want to know, are you open to, if only 25 or 50 people show up, are you still going to put on a good show? Because sometimes things happen. I want to know, are you going to be able to last out on tour for 10 shows straight and not lose your mind? So if I've seen that you've done a tour before, that shows me that you've got some drive. If I've seen that you've done some hole in the wall shows before, but got some great video from it, that shows me drive. So it's things like that that we look for, that I would say are important to highlight when you guys are sending demo submissions, not just to us, but to any agent and to any manager. So not to ramble on, but kind of give you an idea of what a good demo submission looks like. I think this is better. I know it's super small, so let me kind of read it for you and kind of guide you through it. But you'll see here, name is spelled correctly. Again, I'm not a big stickler for that, but I think it makes sense, especially if you're sending a demo or a resume. Hey, Isaac, I hope all is well. I am working with so-and-so. They have appeared at over 60 jazz and world music festivals worldwide and recently sold out jazz so-and-so in 2021 and are looking to start recording and touring again. I'd love to see if you have any interest in working with us to any capacity you see fit. Here is the website with more information. Here is a positive article from so-and-so. Here, they are one of the headliners at the 2022 San Francisco Bay Area Latin Jazz Festival. And then it shows a bunch of recent plays, festival recent plays. This is very helpful. This is almost the same pitch that I would send to a venue when trying to book this act. So this person that is reaching out on behalf of this artist is probably been booking them and reaching out for them for however many months or years and is looking for help, because I can tell that they obviously have some sort of experience booking. The email is very straightforward, in your face. It gives you everything that what you need, that a venue would need, that a festival would need. So I could tell there's some experience there, but this is something that you're looking for. And I'm not saying you got to have, you know, this sort of resume, but any sort of resume helps. And if you're not putting that forward and we have to go dig for it, it makes us obviously less interested because we're busy and running around. This, I don't have to dig for. It puts it all in my face. Now, what I could do is go research and make sure that this is all real. And if I can even tap into some people I might know at these festivals and say, hey, you know, I got a demo from so-and-so, what was that like? So things like that help. And then now this is somebody that I did respond to. You know, I did so based off of the fact that I felt like I could do something with it because I saw the festivals that they had. I saw some synergy between acts that we had on our roster, and I could tell that this business acumen from this team is going to be easy to work with. They're going to be very, you know, at least at face value so far, it looks like they're going to be easy to work with. This is somebody that I did respond to. So just to give you some insight there. Demos can be a little tricky. I know, you know, when you send a demo to a radio station, it's different than when you send a demo to a record label, or when you send a pitch to a venue, or when you're trying to pitch yourself for, you know, an opportunity online. Everything is kind of tailored differently. Booking is no different. So just understand you can't just have a blanket. I wouldn't just have some sort of blanket email or blanket EPK. I would probably adjust things for who I'm sending it to, and make sure you're putting what they want to see first, and tailoring it to the audience that you're sending it to. Any other questions? Maria, you still have your hand up, but I'm assuming you don't have a question.
No, I'm actually going to try to take it down now. Sorry about that.
You're fine. I just took it down for you. Santino Corleone, come off mute. What question you got?
Hey, how you guys doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
My question is, I have a lot of that pre-experience before the pandemic and before I was even aware of to keep track of this stuff, or I mean, even had a team to do that stuff. Like I have a lot of visual content from those days and pictures and stuff like that, but I'm trying to get back to that. And I was wondering, you know, how do I, you know, I've had one show since the pandemic has kind of ended where I could actually have I actually have the numbers tracked with the venue. I have a relationship with that venue, so I could get that. So I was just wondering how I can, you know, utilize what I've done in the past to what I'm trying to do now. You know what I'm saying?
It's what market are you in, or are you based
in the Midwest? In the Midwest.
Got it. So I would say you know, I guess my big question is, why haven't you played more shows? It's definitely been reopened. Is there a particular reason that you don't, maybe you don't have to tell me either. I'm just curious.
Oops, my bad. I had to unmute myself. Honestly, I don't have management right now, and I've always kind of done it myself. And I just didn't, I wanted to do it right. Like I've also toured, but I've done that by myself. You know what I'm saying? And I've toured with some pretty big acts. So I just wanted to be able to do, when I go into it this time, to do everything right, like track the numbers, have everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't want to be in another situation where I wasn't doing the things that I was really supposed to in the past. And I just kind of haven't taken that step forward because, I mean, honestly, even this is helping because I'm learning things. So I just haven't taken that step forward because I don't want to do the wrong thing per se.
I got you. Well, one thing I'll say is, you know, don't halt your journey by trying to make sure everything is perfect. And I get it because I do that all the damn time. But get out there, you know, play your home market, get into those venues. Even if it's, you know, once every 2 months, I would say play your home market and stay relevant. And even if it's a smaller show, you know, the venue will keep track of it. If you're doing a deal direct with the venue, they'll give you a finals report at the end of the night. Just hold on to those finals reports. And I mean, obviously, the biggest part of that is asking for the finals report, knowing that it exists. But get that afterwards. Ask the venue, hey, can I get the box office report for the show that we just did? Especially if you were a co-headliner or a headliner. If you were support, probably not as much. But sometimes venues keep track of how many people or how many tickets the support sold. So I would always still ask. But I would just, if you can, play out, because the best thing you can do as an artist is to just stay active and stay patient, especially right now, because things are crazy and a lot of shows are being moved still, and being canceled because of low ticket sales and COVID and all of that. So in addition to staying active, don't be hard on yourself, but stay active. I mean, and so if it's the Midwest, play small clubs, find small rooms, and even if they're 100 cap rooms, 150 cap rooms, and do at least, even if it's at minimum 3 shows a year, something like that, so that you have, something that you're keeping track of, and you can constantly building your audience from those shows. So like,
Well, my last
one
one I sold out. I sold out and I headlined it myself in my hometown.
got it. So I mean, and when was the last time you did that?
That was July, I think.
July of 2022.
2, yes.
Got it. So then that's recent numbers.
Okay.
That's
So I
within a
just
year.
get the physical.
May I ask
Go ahead.
you
I'm
what
sorry.
hometown it is?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Got it. Okay. So that's dope. If you could pull, how many people did you pull in Cincinnati?
300. It was 300. It's a smaller venue, like a smaller. It's a theater. They have a theater, then they have a smaller venue. The bigger theater holds 1,200. The smaller venue holds 300, I believe. And we sold that out. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I would get the finals if you don't already have them from that venue.
Okay.
If they have some sort of box office report or something like
They
that,
do.
I would get that, just so you have that as part of your records. And then I would ask them, hey, do you guys report the Polestar? Because I would love for you to report my show that did super well here to them if you guys do. If they don't, that's something that you could report yourself, but I think you do have to be a member to sign up to report. So that is one thing that you guys should consider. But I would say if you're doing that well in Cincinnati, the next thing I would do is I would start reaching out to Live Nation and AEG and some of the bigger promoters in Cincinnati and saying, hey, I just did 300 on my own. I should be opening up for anybody that comes through here.
For sure. That was my next question. Like, how do you morph that into that?
You get that box office.
That's what I was doing.
If I was a Live Nation agent in Cincinnati and somebody shoved a box office report of 300 paid in my face, that artist would probably be considered for the next thing I had coming through.
Interesting. Thank you. Didn't know that. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I have an artist coming through and I know I can throw a local on that's going to move 300 and pay him fairly.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly in my hometown doing that's a walk in the park for me because I kind of got a following here. You know what I'm saying? So that's what my next step in my evolution.
Have you opened for any larger artists in Cincinnati? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's where I really got my following from, is doing that before, but I was doing it for a promotion company. Really wasn't being fair to the artist, you know what I'm saying? So they weren't paying us. It was one of those, hey, it's a promo thing. You know what I mean? You sell tickets, you don't get any money for the tickets, but we're going to throw you on stage. We're going to throw you on before the artist. Well, I would just use that to my advantage at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But I wasn't savvy enough to know that I should be tracking these numbers or doing all that other stuff in the past.
You have an email list?
As far as the my like fan base and all that stuff goes?
Yes.
No, I just kind of do it off my social media.
Got it. Figure out a way to get emails from all of those fans that show up to your shows. Because one thing I always tell everybody is, what are y'all gonna do if Facebook decides to close tomorrow or Instagram
That's a
shuts
good point.
down?
That's a good point.
Y'all just go quit? 'Cause you're gonna lose all your fans. Get
That's a good
emails,
point.
or you can email them. Get phone numbers so you could do text campaigns. But anytime you open up for bigger artists like that, that should be your main goal. If you want to walk away after paying racks to open up for somebody, or even just getting the opportunity, put an iPad out on the table with some t-shirts, sell merch, collect email addresses, collect phone numbers if they'll give them to you. But that is gold. That's much more gold than anything else, because those people you can now direct market to, and they're more likely to come back out to your shows.
Makes
Um,
perfect sense.
you got any other questions?
No, thank you. That's very helpful. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Anybody else got any questions? Don't all speak at once. We'll keep it moving. I only got a few slides left though. All right, we'll keep it moving. So really just want to talk about future seminars. One of the things we just mentioned is the first one up that we're going to start talking about is how to, if you paid to open up for somebody, if you even just get the opportunity, if you're like my guy here in Cincinnati, you can pull 300 in a market, and you get opportunities to open up for bigger artists. There's ways to make great money off of that. There's ways to build really strong personal connections off of that. And we'd like to go over some of those options with you in a future seminar. So these topics are going to be seminars. They're going to be scheduled in the future. We'll definitely keep you guys posted. I have all of your email addresses, so I'll be adding you to a list and just keeping you guys posted on our schedule. We'll do one on proper home market building, how to build from 75 to, again, 300, like my guy in Cincinnati here. Proper regional building, how to build regionally once how to build regionally once you get to a hot mark in your hometown, where to go next, how to spiderweb out from your hometown and hit other markets. We'll talk about marketing, promoting a show, who's responsible for what and why, what the promoter is responsible for, what you and the artist, what you as the client or as the artist is responsible for, what the booking agent is responsible for. So we'll go over those roles. The agent manager client relationship, we'll go over that and how important that is. We'll talk about dissecting a deal. Let's say you get an offer from the club and you see some terminology on there and some accounting that you may not understand. We'll go over some different deals that we get and kind of dissect that terminology and just trying to break down deals and show you maybe why we would take one deal over another deal, things like that. And then proper industry networking. I think we kind of went over that a little bit with the demo slides here, but we'll go over that in more depth on another seminar and just talk about the best ways to network, the best ways to approach people, the best ways not to skip steps, but to bring value to a situation before you engage somebody. I think that that's helpful in the independent music business world. So I wanted to make sure that we covered that in one of our seminars, but that is pretty much it. I really want to thank everybody for participating, coming today. We will, like I said, this is recording, so we will be sharing the video and I will be sharing with you guys more information as we have it in terms of future scheduling for future seminars and what we'll be going over. So we'll close it out with some questions. And I see Toros, you can come off mute.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good, good. I'm looking forward to this next seminar, especially about the proper regional building.
Okay.
because that's where we are right now. So when do you think you guys are going to be doing that? Because that's really where we are at this point.
To be honest, I got to schedule all of these out and I have no
Okay.
idea. I really want to put my all into these and I'm obviously busy. So it takes a minute to put these slides together, but I'm telling you it's coming and I'll definitely keep you posted on when it. But do you have a question on regional building? Maybe there's something I can answer right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess I didn't think about that too deeply, but when you're building in a region, well, I guess we would just have to wait until you get that information together, because it's a lot. I mean, I guess it's a lot that I'm thinking about.
Got a lot of questions. I got you.
Yeah. It's sort of like it's a wider spectrum of the when, what, where, and how, and all that type of stuff. So
I got you. Well, one
but,
thing, and just if I were to give you a high level overview of what's in my head on regional building, one thing I did mention is the spider web effect. If you're in a market like Philadelphia or New Jersey or New York, those are great markets to be in because you can get to major cities in multiple major cities in under 5-6 hours. So technically those are day trips. So
right.
the way I would work it, if I was an independent artist living in, let's say, New Jersey, I would try to organize a show once a month in Philadelphia. I would try to organize a show once a month in New York. I would try to organize a show once a month in Boston. I would try to organize a show once a month in DC. Now, I don't know how many shows you want to do a month, but you can
Yeah.
keep going. And
But
as you
that's
see, now you got what, 5-6 shows a month,
yeah.
and you're not burning out those markets and you're building in those markets. And you can get to those markets and still get back home and go to sleep in your bed.
See, I knew I'd get something out of you. That's great. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you. That helps a lot.
You're absolutely welcome. Maria, I see you got your hand back up.
Yes, I do. So, so Isaac, what we're doing is we're definitely going to compile an email to put together. I wanted to ask a question though, with show support history, would festivals be able to count as that? Like performing
Yes, it
at,
still counts.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And keep in mind, I don't want to totally rain on the soft ticket parade. That stuff is still important. Obviously, the hard ticket stuff is a bit more important, but just like that demo that I just showed you, a lot of that stuff that they sent was soft ticket stuff. So, at least it shows that there's a market out there and it gives us an idea of other places that maybe potentially we could bring work for you.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, because we are putting this together for you. And I just wanted to, make sure we had everything in here. And we were working with just some people in the past that we are no longer working with. However, we still have a good rapport. So we can in this industry. So I would, rather not say it over like an open call. But we did have a major tour that was set in place. So I just want to make sure we have everything listed in that email, because I do not want to make it to your do not send list. Be an example on the
Well,
emails.
I tell you what, as long as you at least give it some thought, you'll be fine. I think
Oh yeah.
that one that I showed you didn't give thought to it at all. I think they might have been in a hurry. But no, I think put everything in there. I don't think you could put too much in a demo, to be honest with you. But the stuff that I mentioned in the slides, and like I said, this video is recorded, so I'll share it with you guys. But that's the stuff that I would put my first foot forward on.
Okay, and I also have a question, and this is somewhat related, and I guess maybe unrelated. So we have sending out like things like DJ packs, right? Is it better, because those things often come in like zip files? Is it better to send those as like a Dropbox link or something of that nature, as opposed to sending like a zip file? I know people are reluctant to open attachments.
Yes. I would try not to send zip files. I would try to send folders. And you could just send a link to a folder. And definitely use Dropbox or Google, something reputable. So that when they look at the link and they don't feel like they're going to some crazy site. So, but yeah, I would not attach anything. That's one thing I probably should have mentioned in this slide is don't use attachments. It just bogs down everybody's email inbox. And anytime I get a demo and they attach like a MP3, or some people even include like a really hefty MP3 that's like almost a WAV file, I have to delete it because I can't just leave that stuff in my inbox. So just think about things like that. Links back to shared folders are definitely the way to go. So get you a good Dropbox account or a Google Workspace account and use that to its fullest.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jamal, what's up?
Hey, what's happening? Yeah, I'm just curious about like what makes a booking agent interested in working with the artist, and what are the first things that you do with that artist? Like, do you really go hard on trying to get them on, well, maybe not necessarily a full tour, but maybe a little regional tour, or do you have them open for a main act? Maybe get them as a support. Like, what is the first step as far as a booking agent do with an artist that they're really interested in?
It could be any one of those things. Just really depends on the act. I mean, everything that we do, we tailor to a client specifically. So we might have a client that says, we really want to play more festivals. So then we'll target our reach outs towards festivals. Or maybe we have a client that says, we just started, we do 75 paid in our home market. We want to start expanding out of our home market into other markets. So then maybe we'll reach out to adjacent markets in those club venues and say, hey, we would like to organize a first time play for this particular act and just kind of see how it does. And then from there, we will keep track of those shows. And if they do well, then we'll start to set up that situation that I just mentioned earlier, where, if you're an artist that lives in New Jersey, you would just play those markets once a month and grow. Or you could be a bigger act that's like, I've done big numbers in my hometown. I've even done big numbers in adjacent markets. I'm ready to see what it would be like to go out and do a whole tour. So then maybe at that point we start reaching out to a series of markets geographically to start arranging to try to get offers in that we can then start routing a tour for. But it's all going to be different. There's no set recipe for or blanket recipe for everybody. It's really meeting with that artist, that client, their team, and then coming up with a plan that makes sense for that particular client.
Another question, real quick. I'm dropping a book, right? And I'm doing a book,
Nice.
and I'm doing the music in conjunction with the book, like whereas the soundtrack to the book is crazy, right? So I was like, when I'm going like a promotional tour or the book run, is there a way where, say, a booking agent or your agency can do that in conjunction together, where you be trying to book, like maybe you could book Barnes and Nobles, a bookstore, like especially like Black and Noble here in Philadelphia, as well as a venue like the TLA across the street, or another bar on South Street that's like just in conjunction with the book, like would you say, look, I just deal with the music, I don't deal with the book thing, or could you as a booking agent like put both of them in your lap and say, man, I could really go expand to the bookstores as well as the music venues with this, and really go hard for the client that way too, like, or you just like we just doing the music?
No, I mean, we do everything. Our goal for our clients is to turn over every stone to try to bring money any which way possible. But with that said, I will say, I know a few publishers and people who have written books, and book tours aren't really all that lucrative as they used to be. And a lot of the bookstores are very selective on who they set up with, especially if the person is expecting to be paid. It's just not as easy as a lot of people think. It's very tough. Even best-selling authors have hard times. I'm not saying have hard times, but it's just not as lucrative as you would expect. But if there's a situation where, it's Philly and the book is doing well in Philly and the bookstore knows it's going to bring people out, then yeah, that's something that we would definitely pitch and just see if there's opportunity. Same thing with record stores in particular markets, or out here on the West Coast, weed stores with bud artists. We're always looking for opportunities, whether it's appearance opportunities or hosting opportunities or walkthroughs or whatever that looks like. It's not just music venues or live performance. And we're also moving into public speaking space where we'll be representing public speakers for live speaking engagements and things like that in the coming months. So we do turn over all stones and work in all of those areas, but the book thing, not to be negative, I don't think that that's something that is as lucrative as a lot of people think, especially if you're trying to put a whole tour together. That's something more market-based. If you got unless we can prove that you're going to have a bunch of people coming out in specific markets and they're very, you got to have some real solid proof on that. It's going to be difficult to do a book tour.
And I wouldn't even want to do like a book tour for money. I would do the book, to sit in the thing and sign the book for the book, and then try to get the money from like a venue that night or that evening. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, everybody come to the show. The show is right across the street or around the corner or in the area. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But keep in mind,
Yeah,
as an agent doesn't want to take time booking things that aren't for money either. So
right.
that probably would be better fit for a management team or somebody else that is just trying to help push along the brand.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
And also that speaking thing, because the book leads to speaking engagement also, you know what I mean? So
That's where the money's at. And that's where the advancement and opportunities at. There's a lot of places to speak, especially on various topics. So.
Yeah, this is a positive book. So about the, breaking into the Philadelphia music industry back in the day. So it's like a lot of things about perseverance and things like that. So, that leads to motivational speaking and things like that. So that too also. That's nice. That's awesome.
All right, let me get to Eduardo and looks like Santino. You guys will be the last two, and then we'll close it down. Eduardo, come off mute.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. My question regards the spiderweb effect. I never heard that before. And currently, I'm going to school for music industry down in New Orleans. And New Orleans, at least since I moved there, I don't believe has any big cities near it besides New Orleans that I can really think of besides Baton Rouge. And once I graduate, I don't really care where I live. It's wherever would be most advantageous for my career. But would you say that moving to a city like such as Chicago or Indianapolis or Philly, where there's a bunch of cities around me, would just be like the smarter thing to do rather than, staying in New Orleans or moving back to a place that doesn't have a lot of big cities near it just so I can expand regionally? Or do you think that's not too important?
I think it could be important. I wouldn't say that's a bad idea. But, again, looking at New Orleans, if I have it in my head, I think I don't know how far Houston is. That might be a hump.
It's 6. I'm from Houston, so.
Got it. That's a pretty big market. That's once a month there. Houston, once a month, New Orleans. What about Shreveport or Jackson, Mississippi, or Mobile, Alabama, or Tallahassee, or Montgomery, Alabama? These are small markets, but don't underestimate small markets. You might get some fans out of those markets.
Okay. That's fair. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Santino.
Sorry, I had to unmute there. Before I wanted to go back to what we were talking about before. When you were saying getting the numbers from the particular venues and then reaching out to people like Live Nation and stuff like that. Like, how would you do that? Like, without the respect, you make it sound so easy. You know what I mean? Like, how would you reach to a Live Nation?
Well, I tell you what, if you're pulling 300 in Cincinnati, and I think you did send, if I can remember, I think you did send a demo in.
Yeah, I did.
That's something that we could probably help out with. I would just need to know that you really did that. So for me,
Yeah, I ain't gonna sit here and just talk you to death.
give me that info if you can. Give me that final box office report from the club or something that just shows like.
Oh, I already reached out to him. I'm waiting on him to hit me back.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, do that. But email, man. Email and emails don't have to be elaborate. They don't have to be 3-4 pages long. Throw up, hey, I'm artist in Cincinnati. I've opened up for these acts. Here are my recent shows, and here's the recent ticket numbers from these shows. Please keep me in mind for anything that you have coming through. Bam, done deal. And I would do that religiously to every contact that you could find, whether it's a city contact, that people that might throw, city events. I know there's some jazz festivals that happen in Cincinnati. I would be trying to contact those organizers. That's where my head will be at. If I'm DIY, that's where my head is at. And a lot of this really is about trying to get you guys, not just look. I'm not trying to axe my own job. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I'm still valuable as an agent, but I also want to educate you guys and show you there's a lot you could do on your own, without us and even before you get to us. So don't let the train stop thinking that it's really hard. It's really just, let me put together an email template with everything that's important and shoot it out to as many people as I possibly can. And don't be discouraged if you don't hear back from people.
Good. All right. Thank you.
I see Eduardo. Did you have one more? Maybe I'll take one more. What was there one more person?
That's my bad. I forgot to lower my hand.
All right, I see Sabrina.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I didn't know if you were going to take one more. Awesome.
Yeah, I'll go ahead, Dave. Let's do it.
Quick question. I know we're probably getting past your time, so I want to be mindful of everybody's time. But so we are 2 years into our music and pulling in pretty good numbers locally, but it's very much the soft ticket kind of stuff. Like, we don't have much paid as far as that. So I'm just wondering, like, how to convert, basically, like how, we're already reaching out, we're branching out. I'm booking in cities that are 3 to 4 hours away from us. Actually booking one this weekend, or at one this weekend that's 6 hours from us. So we're branching out very well. But again, it's at these bars and clubs and stuff that are not like, we're not selling tickets. We're just getting paid to go. So how would I convert that and demonstrate that in a way that would showcase that, we're going places and we're doing a lot on our own and we're getting some numbers, but we're not making actual sales. But want to get to that point. You know what I mean?
Let me understand, if these are club venues and bars that are just they're paying you, but they don't care if you sell tickets or not?
Basically, yeah. Yeah, they're just hiring for entertainment for the night.
Got it. So they don't care about a radius clause then?
I don't even know what that is.
A radius clause says you can't play another show in this market because you already have a show.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep. And there are, I do have one, because I'm out in Arizona, and I do actually have a venue out in Prescott that said this, that did say that. They said you can't book a show here within the same month in the same town because of it being a small town. So is that kind of what that is?
Yeah, well, if they're going to enforce a radius clause, then that means that they should keep track of how many people are there.
Okay. Okay.
That's my argument towards that,
Okay.
because if you're going to block out me playing a show that matters, then
Right.
this show needs to matter. I need to know how many people are there. We're going to count this as my show.
Right.
So I would look at it that way. And then I would also look at it as if you do get those opportunities to play outside of a market and they don't care, try to book
Mhm.
another show in that market or somewhere close to it that does matter.
Right,
And that
which
way
is,
you can go
yeah,
there
I
and
do that for
do,
travel purposes anyway. So
oh, perfect. Well, then
yeah.
those shows that you book around the soft ticket stuff, those I'm assuming you're taking lesser deals for because you're getting paid for the other stuff, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you're building. It's just
Okay.
that keep track of those shows that you're building, that you're booking around the soft ticket stuff. Make sure that you're keeping track
Okay.
of how many people you're bringing out so
Right.
that you can renegotiate when you go back to those markets. Because if if you brought out 30 and then the next time you bring out 50 and you don't keep track of that, it's kind of, you're kind of losing your ability to say, hey, I'm doing better here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a
Okay.
better split, or I should get better hospitality, or I should get
Right.
maybe another 100 or $200, whatever
Right.
that looks like.
Okay.
That's why you do want to keep track of what you're pulling into those markets, and you know, try to revisit those markets frequently too. You know,
Right. Yes, and I already do that. I already have a very good established relationship with a lot of my venues, and we do go back. Like you even said, the once a month in this city, once a month in this city, once a month in that city. So I'm already kind of doing that, but again, we just don't have the number sales to prove it. It's just the bouncing from town to town to town. So
I got you. One thing I would do is when you're considering those shows that you're booking around the soft ticket stuff, try to find
mhm.
strong locals to collaborate with on those shows, people that you know draw in those markets or that have played
Mhm.
those markets, and try to get those bands on your show so you can start getting in
Okay.
front of the crowd and playing to some bigger crowds, and trying to steal those fans over to your side so that when you
Right.
start to go to those markets, you can try to build on your crowd that way. So
Okay.
always try to look to
Okay.
collaborate in market. One of the things that I would do is find all the markets that you know you're going to be going to more than once, and build a
Mhm.
database of locals in those markets, and start. And if
Mm.
you are, maybe you've already done that, but start to build relationships with those locals and just say, hey, we're going to be there in August. You got a show you want to play,
Right.
and then it just starts to, now you're going back at those venues with bills that are probably going to do bigger numbers because you've done a little, you've networked in those markets to put together your own show, so to speak.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we're just, I feel like 2023 is the year that it's like, all right, let's step this up a notch. So
Good. Let's
yeah.
go.
Awesome.
The
Yeah.
pandemic's almost over, so I feel like
Yes. Yes. All right.
well,
Thank you
best
so
of
much.
luck to you. Definitely stay in contact.
Of course.
I'm gonna go ahead and end this, guys. I appreciate everybody joining. Thank you again. Like I said, this will be recorded. I'll make sure to share the video with you all. But I wish you all the best of luck. Happy New Year.